Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Let's turn off the music. Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to Craft Your Joy Live. Let's move the microphone in a little bit. I'm Lisa Hetrick. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Oh my goodness. I have a really fun, rewind the tape a little bit. I have a really fun card tutorial to share with you today. We're going to be using some of the new dies from my latest Gina K release, Basket of All Seasons and Basket of All Seasons Winter Edition. And we're going to create an oversized card. And I'm going to do a couple, we're going to mash it up with the Season of Joy. So we're going to do some fun stuff. So I see friends that have popped in. And today I went live a little bit later today than I normally do, about a half an hour later. Yeah, about a half hour later, because at the end of today's live, I have a special announcement and something I want to show you that Gina K is offering, and it is available today starting at 1 p.m. our time Eastern, 12 Central. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. All right, let's just dive in, friends. So all of the links, some things need to be added, I think, are down below in the description. I'll make sure all of that is there after the live. And we will also, if you have questions along the way, just pop them in the chat. I see we have lots of friends joining in today, and more will pop in along the way. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the overhead cam. And let's just do this, right? Let's just get going. This is the first in, yay, Luann! This is the first in the holiday series. I promised that we would do like 3 to 4 holiday series tutorials that were paper crafting related. And I'm also going to add in a straight up, we're just going to watercolor paint something. And I'm going to give you the download of the illustration so you can paint along with me. That session for the paint along, friends, if you're on my email list, that's going to be, I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end, but I'm going to be sharing that in my email list, and it'll be longer than an hour, and it'll be like, let's paint together, let's talk, let's have some fun, some cookies and some tea. That's going to be something I decided at the very last minute that we were going to add on to all the paper crafting projects. So let's go ahead in and let's pop my face in. Okay, friends. So here were 2 card projects that I shared on the live. Good morning, Karen. Here were 2 projects that I shared when we released a Basket of All Seasons, which these are the 2 die sets. There's so much on my desk right now, friends. So bear with me. These are the 2 die sets that I'm going to be using today. And we're going to also be using the stencil from the Season of Joy and maybe the stamp set. I have an idea. I haven't worked this idea out completely. Go figure. In my head, it's going to work out great, but you know how it goes, right? So hello, everyone. Oh, Ginny made her first card. Everybody's just popping in. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. We're going to do an oversized card today, and I'm mashing up these 2 concepts. Is it going to work? Maybe. I'm hoping that it will work the way I think it's going to work in my head. So conceptually, I love all of the die elements that we're going to use. And yes, it's going to have a built-in card, gift card holder on the oversized card. But I also want to do some pattern stenciling on this card as well. So, and I think we're going to use that sentiment. I am obsessed with this was an incentive set. I think it's still available. Snowy Days, it's called. I'm obsessed with this happy holiday sentiment, and I keep using it over and over and over again, and I'm pretty sure we're going to use it today, or we might not. Hello, Rose. Hello, everyone that's popped in. All right, let's just get going. Now, I have already pre-die cut a lot. I think pretty much all of the elements except for the sentiment, because we're going to be doing some stenciling and some coloring adding some color details to our die cuts. So I want to make sure we had enough time to do all of that. So I did do some pre-die cutting. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Rose. Everybody's got some sweet, sweet comments. Again, along the way, if you have questions along the way, just pop question in the chat. You can probably hear it go bloop, bloop. That's all of you coming in and making all your wonderful comments. Okay, now let's get my hair out of the way. So see, I have a bunch of die cuts here. So we're going to use those. But here's my idea. Let's get going. Here's our oversized card. And the other thing is, here are the colors we're using: Petunia and Kelly Green. I've used Petunia in our die cuts, and I'm obsessed with this Kelly Green. This is an oversized card. This is an A7, so that's a 5x7 card. And I've cut a panel of Gina K heavyweight, lightweight cardstock to fit on here. And I want to create a stencil pattern background on here using the Petunia and using our stencil from Season of Joy. I've gone a couple different ways with this thought process. Now, here is the concept, how I took that die cut back there, and you can see that we've got die cuts layered over top of that stencil element. I love this conceptually, where you can use your stencils and use your die cuts together. So I wanted to kind of take it and scale it up a little bit and see if the idea in here actually plays out well on the paper, which you never know, friends, right? Because we've designed things together on the fly many times. So we're just going to dive in. I also want to build in this concept of the basket on the front of the card with the slip-in piece for the gift card. So we're going to talk about that and how you can use the die as a pocket, which here it's a pocket. So if you have this die set and you make this piece as a pocket, it fits in an A2 envelope. So you could literally just hand the whole thing over. But I wanted to take it another step further today and do an oversized card with it. So let's see how this works out. We'll see how this works out. We're going to start with my piece of cardstock here. Now, I should have gotten my sticky mat out and did all the sticky mat things that you do when you're working with your stencils, but I didn't do that because my brain wasn't firing that way today. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to use some tape, and we're going to wing it and see how it goes. Now, what I want to do is, I know that on the front of that card, we've got that basket element that's going to kind of take up this space here. So I want to have like some cascading poinsettias coming down like across, and kind of have them cascading and working in threes. So let's see how that works out. Let's see. Let's just tape this down a little bit and kind of chat a little bit too. Tape this down and see how this goes. Friends, I got to take a sip of water. Last night we had a massive storm that rolled through here. It was weird. The whole house was shaking. It was just crazy town. And it's super, super windy here today. So it's crazy, a little bit dry. Okay. All right, I'm going to take the stencil and I'm just going to tape it down. And I'm going to wing it, friends. Now, I'm going to work with Petunia, and I'm going to really focus. I've got these, my favorite blending tools with Gina K. And I'm going to just work in some of that Petunia around the edges, because I want the outside edges to be a lot more intense in color than the inside. And I really want to preserve some of that inside to be the white of the paper. So let's see how it goes, right? So, Luann, winging it is my favorite way to craft. You know what, Luann? It totally is kind of my favorite way. Like, conceptually, when I'm coming into our tutorials together, I kind of have an idea. Sometimes I've worked it out ahead of time if I really think I need to. But lately I have found that I feel, and maybe you all can tell me, oops, I kind of went, see how heavy handed I am with the stenciling? I'm just a boogerer when I do the stenciling. So I'm learning too. And that was all part of like being able to offer stencils this year, was for me to kind of grow my skills too. Um, I find that when I've come into our lives lately, or in the last maybe a couple months, when I have a general idea of what I think we're going to do, and it's kind of an idea in my head, but I don't really play it out 100%, I feel like it's a lot more fun. And I feel like our time together is a little bit more authentic, and also more um, leaving a lot of room for magic. Like, I want to leave a lot of room for magic when we're crafting together, because it would be very much like if you were here with me right now and we were doing this together, it would be exactly like this. So here we go. So see how I've got a little bit of that darker petunia around the edges. So I concentrated a little bit more color on the edges of the stencil, and then kind of left that in the middle, left that middle to be really, really white, that white of the paper. Okay, let's keep going with our pattern. So whenever I'm creating pattern backgrounds, whether it be stencils or whether it be with stamps, I'm always thinking about how the relationship between the images work and how they might connect together to complete the pattern. I probably should clean the stencil in between. But I didn't, and I'm not going to. And unfortunately, I do not have the stencil, but we'll figure out alternative. If you don't have the stencil, don't worry about it. You could use any kind of stencil. You could even do this tutorial with a stamp. If you have a stamp image that you like and want to create a pattern background, you would do the exact same thing. The stencil is just a little bit different. That's all. I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to line this up like right here. Excuse me, friends. Should I clean the stencil in between? Probably. Am I going to? Probably not. Hopefully I won't get any boogered up spots. So I'm just going to gently hold this, kind of work my way around. Again, I'm not the stencil guru, and I would say Gina is a stencil guru. Her blending skills are far better than mine. I would say I'm a messy stenciler. I'm making up a lot of words today, friends. I'm a messy stenciler, but I do like to play with them. And I think that they're a lot of fun. And they're a really nice way to add texture and dimension to our paper crafting projects. All right, so we've got that pattern starting to go here a little bit. I want to bring this in because we know that this is going to like occupy some space here at the bottom. So, and we know here are our known things. We know that that's going to end up covering up or not. I might not even use the tag. It might end up just being like one of these kind of deals. So let's see. Let's just focus on completing the pattern. I'm going to do something over here and probably some two little pieces up here. And I might do a little something around here. I'm not sure. Let's do a little bit, another big one right here. And I'm focusing now, like, again, on that relationship of where those petals are landing in relationship to the stenciled piece above it. And see how I've got this space here and I've got that space right there. Let's go ahead and noodle that poinsettia in so that it's showing it. This poinsettia's leaf is going this way, bloom is going that way, that bloom is going that way. It's giving us some direction. So it's pleasing to the eye. All right, let's go in and just go ahead and do this. And let's just have some fun with this. Initially, and I think I even put it in the description that we were going to do some watercolor today. Well, I don't think we're going to do any watercolor today. Because next week I've got next week's tutorial for the holiday series is going to be watercolor intensive. So I thought, hey, let's focus on die cuts and color today. Let's see how that looks. All right, I'm loving that. Loving the way that looks. All right, I think what I want to do is come up here and use the smaller piece. Now, if you don't have the stencil and you have, say, you might have Season of Joy, that stamp set, or another poinsettia stamp set like that, because there are other poinsettia stamp sets that you might have in your stash, then just use your large, medium, small poinsettia and create this same pattern just by stamping it on. And a lot of times I've done that too. But I don't know if I'm going to like that. Let's just lay that down. Let's just commit. Commit. Okay. Commit, Lisa, commit. So we're just designing on the fly here and hoping that everything that I'm stenciling in won't get covered up by what we're doing. So I'm focusing my imagery up top here. I really should clean the stencil, but we're just going to go rogue. We're just going to keep going rogue. And I'm going to have this pattern kind of go off the edge a little bit. I'm not a very careful crafter. And I think most of you all know that because of the way you see me paint. It's kind of sloppy and wet and it's kind of fun. All right, so we've got this. I'm kind of digging that. I feel like I'd like to see a larger sized one go up here. And as you can see, all I'm doing is noodling around the design a little bit and interlocking some of these petal elements together. Like having that petal go this way and this way, just so it has a relationship to the stenciled image next to it. All right, let's go ahead and pop this in and have this go off the edge a little bit. I am obsessed with this petunia color. It is joy, so much joy. Just love it. Okay, love that. Kind of didn't really like the idea of layering them like that, but love the way that looks. Now, I just had a really, really good idea. But we'll see how this plays out. Now, I could go in here and layer some more of these over top of each other in another color. And if I'm going to do that, I will say, if I'm going to do that, we'll see, it would be in the yellow. It will be in the new marigold color. So I'd have to go grab that. Or one of the other yellows and then see how that looks. But I'm kind of getting a little bit of a fast forward of what that would look like in my brain. And I don't think I like it. So we'll see. That's kind of how my brain works with design. Like I'll get started on something and I'll feel like the way it's going. And then I can kind of fast forward in my brain the end product. And then I can either see if it's going to work or not going to work. Sometimes. All right, I see some space up here that I just want to lay this over top. And this is the beauty of the stencil. We can kind of lay this over top and see if that kind of helps complete the pattern. Because see how we've completed the pattern here because it's going off of the edge of the cardstock, where this area up here kind of feels a little bit unfinished. A little bit. To me, it does. So I'm going to pop this back on. I need to move this. This is chock full of things that we're going to use, but I need to move it. And that is unstable. Let's go ahead and lay that. Okay. This stencil would have been really great too to do a really fun background. Now I'm going to pop this over here. And I just want to kind of play around with this a little bit and kind of complete that shape. I don't want to overlap, so I'm really noodling with the turning around of this. Yeah, like that, right there. Hello, Rhonda. All right, I closed my petunia. We need to open that back up. Let's lay this down. I'm not even going to tape it down. I'm just laying it down. Just adding that in and really making sure I go off the edge. I want to add a little bit of darkness to the edge there. Pull that up. Gently, Lisa, gently. And see how it kind of finishes off that edge? And I'm going to do one up here that'll help kind of finish off that top. Because when this gets laid onto our piece of cardstock, then we'll have a sense of our boundary, like where the pattern is and where the green is. So where one thing stops and where another thing begins. I'm nerding out, friends. I can feel it. Can feel my brain starting to do some design nerding. Hello, Rhonda. Hi, Tanya. Okay, let's go in right here. Friends, I missed going live last week. My apologies. I was on a massive deadline. And I literally lost like a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Friday. And it did. So it happened. All right, you see this spot right here? Part of me feels like let's let some breathing room happen. But then another part of me wants to just kind of nest this right in here. So let's just do that. Let's just go with our gut here. Also, I knew I wanted to start the holiday series, but I really didn't want to start it in October. If that makes any sense. It was the day before Halloween. And I really was like, I just really don't want to start the holiday series in October. So, all right, I'm liking the way that feels pattern wise. We've got some nice movement kind of coming this way. It doesn't really bother me that there's nothing happening there, but if it did, I could easily go in with a little bit of that pattern and add that right there, but I'm not going to. And here's why. I really want to keep a little bit of room for your eye to go. And also these little empty spaces or white spaces in the design are giving us some room, not only for our eye, but also for adding embellishments, if we want to add an embellishment. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and glue the whole thing. I think we're going to get a visitor soon. I think I just heard her come in. My daughter just came in from work. Rose said, I need to get through fall first. I know it's fall, and I like taking my seasons one at a time. And because Thanksgiving and Christmas are so close together this year, trying to be mindful of having a little bit of magic of both, right? So, okay, so this is what I was talking about when I was talking about creating the pattern. And then we know that it's going on the card and we have that border of the Kelly green color. So you know where the pattern starts and ends. And it gives us some kind of foundation for the card project. So you can see that adding these three elements here to kind of go off of the edge really, really helped. Hi.
Hello.
I told you it was her. Okay, friends. Let's go ahead and glue this down. Yay! Tanya said, so happy to see you made a big card. I actually am doing something a little bit different with this holiday series. I want to make big cards. I want to make big cards and big kind of like oversized things. So I think that the tags and things that we're going to do, I just realized that there's some schmutz on here. There's some color on here. It might have transferred. Oops, I hope it didn't. Looks pretty clean. Not a clean crafter, friends. Not a clean crafter. Tanya, I'll tell her you said hello. She went zipping on by. She may be going to the gym. Okay, when I cut this layer of white, I didn't cut it. I just now noticed my measurements might be a little bit off. So my side measurements are like 1/4 inch and this is almost like a half, but that's okay. I'm going for it. It's a little bit of a different kind of border. Love that. All right, I wanted to get this on here because then I want us to talk about like the next steps with layering the elements that we're going to work with from the die set. So again, so here's just to revert back to the original inspiration. Here is the inspiration from this card being used here in this pattern. Really love that idea. All right, now we've got the basket and we have some basket layers. We have the tag. And I think that I'm not sure if we're going to use the tag yet or not. So I'm going to have it be here. Luann said, I feel that not so clean crafter vibe. Ugh, I definitely have that vibe going for me. All right, I've got a bunch of poinsettias cut from the kit. Oh, let's move them here so that we can take a peek. I also have some of the blooms. I got a lot of different things cut here. So let's just pull it or leave it all in here and focus on the basket first. But I predominantly used cherry, Gina K Cherry. Love that deep, deep, rich red. And we're using petunia and we're using Kelly green. So one of the ways that I focus on not getting like super overwhelmed with all the things and all the colors is just kind of pare it down to a very simple amount of colors that you're using. And it keeps it really, really simple. So let's start with the basket piece first. Now, the die for the Basket of All Seasons basket, it's big, it's oversized. It has a score built into it so that you can fold it and then you create that pocket. Now, we could easily just use that whole thing here and create that pocket on the card. I'm just kind of designing this and working this out in my head. I'm probably going to nest it right down to this bottom line. Or you could cut this and just use one side of the basket, glue it down, and it becomes kind of an embellishment. So your difference is the weight of your card and how you're going to use it or give it. You could also take this whole element and put it on the inside. But the reason why I like it on the outside is because you're giving the gift and then it gives you opportunity to write something on the inside. So that's why I like it. Yay, everybody said, oh, Cheryl said her die set just arrived this morning. I think what we're going to do, friends, is we're going to do the whole thing so that we have the pocket. It has weight to it, but it also kind of makes it kind of substantial. So it gives you two things. I'm going to actually glue the whole thing to the card, but you could just put like one of those little removable sticky dots on the back of it, and you could like remove the whole thing if you wanted to. But we're not going to get that fancy. We're just going to have some fun with this. So to make the pocket, really super simple. I wanted to show you this open because when you put the tag inside, you see how it just kind of fits right in there. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom. It can if you like trim it, but it fits in here so that all you have to do is add a little bead of glue around the edges. So it makes it pretty easy. And we're just going to add a little bead of glue. I'm going to try to be neat with the glue. Now, when you die cut it, the edges of your die start to crimp the paper a little bit. And that makes it, to me, super, super useful and helpful to see where to put your bead of glue. And what I mean by that is you can see that there's like a little edging here. that you can do a little line edge that you can just add that little tiny bead of glue to. It's just a good guideline. Otherwise, you're just adding a little bead of glue to the edge. Super simple. Fold it up. And then just kind of hold on to it for a second. And there you go. We've got that little pocket. Might just hold on to it for a little second here. And then we're able to open that up and put anything in it. And I'm thinking for this design, so you see how we're able to open that up. For this design, we'll see how it's going to play out. It does make it super easy creating that basket that way. The idea was to create this basket. It's a very large die, friends, and I know that you've seen it, especially when we did the launch of it a week ago. It's a very, very large die, and those of you who are on the live right now who have it, you can see that it's a large die. But I wanted it to make it simple so that when you ran it through your die cutter, you had the whole piece in one piece, and you could just fold it over and make it a pocket, or you could just trim it right there and make it an embellishment. Keeping it real, friends. Oh, Karen, I made a basket for a gift card this morning. I had to go basic, and I had too many ideas in my head. I can relate. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm committing to adhering this basket right to my card base. Look at that, just adding a little bit of glue. I could have used a little bit of tape runner for this too. And then we're just going to build on top of it. But I like the glue because look, I'm just going to kind of shimmy it and move it around. This is kind of fun. I'm looking at the design right now. It's kind of fun because it looks like a little sprinkle of, think about this in the spring when maybe the spring set comes out that coordinates with this. When you've got all these little blooms that are coming down and they look like they're falling in the basket. How fun is that? Thank you, Karen. Ginny, very cool. I love A6, and that is what you made with the first card. Oh, very fun. Yeah, I made this die set so that you had that opportunity, friends, that you had the opportunity. There's our pocket. I just want to kind of note where that pocket is. See how fun that is? We're going to come back to that. We have a lot of opportunity with this die set to do A2 sized elements, because this is sized A2 when you use all the pieces, or your oversized projects, which makes it fun. All right, now the basket layers. I cut this twice because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to use yet. So this is in the Barely There cardstock, and this is our Innocent Pink cardstock. So we know that we're going to be layering some of our reds and our greens over it. So do we like Innocent Pink or do we like Barely There? I think, I don't know. I kind of like the neutral of this. If I were to bring in like the red and a little bit of the pink. Oh boy. Someone's at the door and I cannot answer it. Okay. So we've got the Barely There and I've got this, and I think that Barely There is a little bit too neutral. So we're going to go ahead and add on, I'm going to go ahead with the Innocent Pink. Oh, you're saying, Jenny's saying Barely There. Should we do Barely There? Because all right, let's play this out. If I put the Barely There here and I lay this on top and then I lay this on top, because we're going to end up laying these two layers on top. Ooh, That's really nice. That's really nice. Let's go with the barely there. Let's see how, I think it's going to add, it's a nice neutral and it's going to add a little bit of contrast too for the basket, especially when we go to put the leafery on it. Oh, I think that's going to be great. All right, let's go ahead in and add. So, friends, the front door of our home opens to my studio space. And there is someone at the front door. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably, there's so much work being done on this street that I live on, like this, a lot of driveways and a lot of road work being done, that it's probably someone trying to sell me something. Because they always pop in when they're in the neighborhood. So sorry, I didn't answer the door because I'm live crafting with my friends. Okay, let's pop this on. Digging this. Digging it. Oh, that's a great idea too, Tanya. Glue the two together for dimension. You could absolutely do that. That's what's really neat about this one too. You can glue, you have this side and you glue the other side so you have the front and the back. And it does give it the weight. That's so lovely. All right, I'm going to add this piece. There's two parts to this basket. One that's the base layer. And so you could just finish it, leave it be with that. And then this layer that goes over top that die cuts out some little pieces that allows us to see what's underneath when you layer it. So you get a little bit of a teaser at the color that's happening underneath it. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. Okay, so friends, I do like to mix in my design projects. I do like to mix stencils and design and dies together. I also like to add stamps. Some people don't, but I like to add stamps too. But I think that's all part of like the versatility of it. Adding all the different elements to your from your crafting arsenal to add to your project. So I'm using the glue today. I could have used my tweezers, which I'm not really sure where they are. I don't see them. They get used a lot around here. So let's just go ahead and hold this down. So we've got quite a bit of dimension on the front of this basket, and I still have preserved the space underneath for the pocket. So we've got the basket on here, and I've got the beautiful blooms happening here. Now I want to pop in, I'm going to pop in my tag. And the reason why I'm popping it in here is because I want to see some positioning. So if I pop this in the basket, this is all of the pattern that I see. But that's okay. I think that could be okay. Oh, Cheryl said, oh, thank you for showing that. I was thinking you inlaid all of those tiny little pieces. No, you could if you wanted to, but no, you could pop it out. You pop them out. Definitely not inlay all those tiny little pieces. You could also inlay all these pieces that cut out if you wanted to. So like I cut these out in 2 different colors. So all these little negative pieces I could have inlaid in, but I'm not doing that. Not today. So here's kind of what it would look like with the gift card, and then we're going to add our embellishments on this part. So I like it. I don't love that we're not seeing a lot of the pattern that we took the time to build. So let me pull the tag out, and let me just put this in like this. And I think I like that more. So let's see. Let's just go ahead and add our embellishments. So I'm going to start first with my big pink one. And I shared this on the last, I think I shared this when we launched the product a week ago. Could you skip the back arch? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do, Rose. We're going to skip it. You have the option with this die to pop out the holes or to not pop out the holes. I'm going to pop out the holes. Excuse me, this time. And just start laying down some of these elements. So we've, excuse me. Oh, another great idea. I wonder if you cut the tag out in vellum, then you would see the background. That's a fantastic idea. And FYFE 1948, I don't want to say Fife is your name because I know that's not your name, but that's a fantastic idea. I love that idea. I need some vellum though. I know that I don't have any vellum, or somehow I can't find it, which is pretty much how things go for me. Now, I think I want to start with the red. And here's why. I like this that's popped out, but I don't like the popped out holes on top of that. Although if I was going to, I would put them right there so that you could see the red underneath. I think I want to put the red down and then add 2 pinks here. So I really like the way those 2 petunias look on that barely there. Woo! Okay, now look, scanning the desk. Here it is for the foam squares. I'm going to pop these up with foam squares so that we can get the leafery and other elements up underneath it. Hello. It was someone at the door, and it was, you know, probably driveway guy. She knows. I was explaining how when there's a lot of work being done at different houses and things like that, that vendors show up at our door. And he hit the doorbell, and I couldn't answer. So, would you like to come in and say hello? Here. Where's the camera? Oh. I never remember. You have to pop down. There you go. Say hello. Hello. It's Sydney. She's going to the gym. We are making this project today with a real gift card that we need to go to Target.
Is there stuff? Is it
the
$5 one?
Yeah, it is.
All right. We go there with a $5 gift card.
It's the $5 gift card.
Jeez. We can get like. What can you even get with $5 at this day and age?
Karen says hi.
Hello, Karen.
What can we get for $5 at Target?
I think
cat food.
I think not. No, that's like
their cat food costs more than $5. Yeah. So
maybe a pack of Skittles. Is that $5 at this point?
Feels like it. I don't know. We haven't bought Skittles in a while. Hard to tell. Tanya just says, does the salesman know that crafting is occurring? Well, he didn't look in the window. So the front door is like all glass, and he didn't peek in. Usually people don't do that. He was off to the side, so I couldn't see him, but kind of funny. Tanya says hello too, Bear. Hello. She says hello, hello, hello. All right, we're going to lay this on here, and we're going to nest. See how I'm just kind of letting these two be friends and kind of nesting and layering them together a little bit. And we're going to do a little order of 3s over here. This card is super simple. Bye, sweetie. Love you. I just realized something that I wanted to do and I didn't do. So let's just pull this off. See if I can get this off without ripping everything. I want to add, one of the things I wanted to share today was I wanted to add a little bit of this petunia to the edge. Like just add a little bit of color to the edges of these die cuts. Oh, just to kind of, this is a tone on tone. So the paper is petunia and the dye ink is petunia, but I really think that it kind of helps add a little extra, although I boogered that up, a little extra color, a little extra contrast too to your die cuts. Oy, oy, that does not, I'm kind of boogering it up a little bit, but that's okay. And I almost laid all those on there without doing it. That red is really, really, the cherry red is a gorgeous color. It's one of my favorite Gina K colors. I know I say that about a lot of the Gina K colors, or all of them, but that cherry red is so pretty. Let's go ahead and clean this off so that we don't end up with that. Bring our project back in, and let's go back to nesting these two elements together. And popping that back on that little foam dot that was there. That little bit of color is really super cute. Thank you. You must have read my mind. I was thinking about daubing those edges. That's exactly was my intention, but my brain kind of went another way because I was chattering, and I kind of boogered this up. So let's add a little something more to this one. Just smooth that out a little bit. I am not the best blender, but I am learning and getting better and having some fun with it. I used to not ever want to do it because I felt like I was already a messy crafter anyway. And this is that kind of crafting where you can easily booger things up. But then I just said, so what? If we booger it up, we booger it up. And we let it ride, right? Oh, your cherry red died. I love the cherry red. Get the re-inker, you'll be good to go. All right, I'm going to pop this in. Let's see, how am I going to lay this in? I'm just going to noodle this around like this and have it kind of go off my edge a little bit. Breaks the border, gives it a little bit of extra texture and dimension. Love that. Love, 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 love. Okay, now we've got our leafery. I'm kind of going on and on and on. We've got our leafery. I want to play with this a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to do a little something with loving this. I'm going to do a little something with these two berry elements. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to keep this one. This is going to be our base. Oops, let's get that off of there. And I'm going to just go ahead and trim the berries off. Ooh, and try not to lose them. Trim the berries off. And you're going to get, I call these like twofers. You're getting a twofer here. You're getting 2 for 1. We're going to use this piece that we cut all the berries off as a piece of leafery down here. So it's kind of like a twig. And then we're going to use the berries and we're going to pop them on top here. At least that's what I think we're going to do. So let's go ahead and pop this on here. Do, 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 do. Okay. And let's go ahead and kind of nest these on. Let's see if I can get them nested on there. This is tiny. These are tiny little pieces. I might have to hold it up. Kind of pop that over there. And like play with this a little bit. I know that that one's going to go there. Let's see. This is me and my little fingers. My little stubs for fingers. And let's just go ahead and pop this one on here. Just taking the tip of the scissors to kind of help me along. Oh, friends, friends, friends! I'm excited for sharing more projects through the holiday season we're going to just kind of, I'm doing a bunch of different things, okay? I got a lot of ideas in my head. Today we started off with really sharing the basket of all seasons and the winter set. I'm going to be using the winter set again, and I am going to be mashing up some of the other stamp sets from the year into holiday card projects. So the stamp sets that were kind of at the beginning of the year, where I had the piano and I had the violin. I've got some ideas for that. So what I really wanted to do is make sure that we were revisiting things that I've released this year, that were in my Gina K line, and then showing you ways that you can use them for holiday projects. So I've got some ideas. So we're going to be doing some of those. So, and I think next week we're going to do a trio of tags and have some fun with that. With some old sets, we're going to do some mashups. All right, I love this. So see how you're able to get those two. This feels like it might be a little bit fussy, right? Trimming off that top of the berry to kind of create that look. But it's kind of fun. And it's not something I would say I would do like a ton of these, but I think it's kind of fun to do just a few for a project like this, for someone special in your life for the holidays. I think it would be fun. All right, let's flip this over. And let's pop this in right here. I have to kind of be mindful of where my glue is. And I want this to kind of nest in here, but I also don't want to lose, I want it to cover, but I don't want it to go off the edge of my card. And you can see one of my berries is kind of shifted a little bit, but whatever. We're going to let it ride. Okay, and here's our little twig piece. So super fun. Like if you just wanted to do a die of twigs, say you wanted to do some twigs, like you have a bird stamp or something, you could easily use that berry die, just trim off the berries, and then you got some twigs. Cut them out in brown. How fun is that? All right, let's go ahead and I'll be keeping mindful of the time. We're going to run a little bit over today, friends. Just a little bit, because I do have a really fun announcement at the end. But I do have to wait till it's actually really live. And if Karen is with us still, she'll know what I mean. Okay, I'm going to pop this in. I don't know where the voices are come from. I'm going to do a little trim here. Just trim a little bit of this off. I'm going to trim a little bit of these off, just to give me a tail to kind of nest that up and under. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of glue here. Now, this card, like, I think this whole concept would be really fun for like a coworker. Like you want to make a card and you want to give like a little $5 gift card. The present is the gift card and the card in itself. They could easily like frame it. You could tuck a picture in there and they could have some fun with it. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 kind of gift. You get the gift card. You're also giving them this really fun card project, and they could do something else with it. They could put it on a scrapbook page. They could pop some photos in there, and how fun would that be? Okay, so we've got some elements on here. Kind of loving that, kind of loving the way that looks. Let's add a few embellies. We'll add a few embellishments. Now let's come back. I like the gift card just kind of being popped in there. But friends, if you didn't want to do a gift card at all, think about it this way. This really looks nice. And you could easily like tuck in some more flowers like this. And then you have a really cool card, right? And you could pop happy holidays on it and you could call it done. So you have some really, really interesting options for it. Ginny, you said can't wait to see the other seasons. Friends, I will grab the, here, let me pop myself my face out real quick and let me grab that. There was another season of Oversized card, which kind of was the genesis idea for this one too. Even though, so this, I posted this one in the Gina K group, and I think I posted it out on social media. But look at this. This is a basic concept of what we were doing today without the pattern background, and using some more of the elements on the in the die set to create this Thanksgiving like card project. Let me know in the chat if you'd like to see this one in real time on a live. So we could possibly do 2 lives next week or do 2 big projects next week. So we would go over a little bit, but I could do this fall Thanksgiving like thing and then a Christmas holiday thing. So let me know in the chat if you're thinking you'd like to see that. I know that there was some requests. I think it was Debbie in the Gina K Facebook group asked to see this live too. So I think that might be kind of fun to do. All right, back to this concept. So you could easily just have this be the embellishment, and you've got this cascading pattern of florals, and we've got this really fun basket. And this could be it. You could finish it off here and be done. So Rose just said yes. Tanya said yes. Jenny said sure. We might just expand our tutorial next week and have two ideas going. We could do that. We can do whatever we want, right? It's just a matter of if everybody has time to enjoy that with me. So I'm going to leave this way for now. But we've got 2 ideas definitely going. So here's our pocket. This is super, super fun. Now, happy holidays was our sentiment. I might not have left any room for it. And I might have to put it on the inside, which wouldn't be so bad. Because you could put it on the inside. You know, I'm really bad with the sentiments on the inside. You know who's really good with the sentiments on the inside? Karen, who's with us right now. Okay, everybody's asking for that fall Thanksgiving holiday. Good. I really wanted to do that card too, but I wasn't sure because, you know, we're heading into the holiday season. So I think what we'll do next week is we'll walk out what this looks like and talk about our fall color combinations and how you could create something like this, especially like if you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving and you want to give like a little hostess gift. This would be perfect for that. So we'll do that, and we'll also do like a holiday tag project. So the Christmas version of our holiday series project next week will be a little smaller. Karen says thank you. All right, I think what we're going to do is, because since I boogered this up and didn't leave room, we're going to open this up and we're going to stamp Happy Holidays from the Snowy Days stamp set. We're going to stamp it on the inside. And I am going to graduate into a person that stamps sentiments on the inside of the card, which I never do, but I'm going to. I'm going to do it right now. I'm using obsidian. Okay, friends. We're kind of winding down. I'm going to stamp this with obsidian. Hopefully it looks good. Yes, a tag. All right, looks pretty good. I did pretty good going rogue. Love that. All right. Happy holidays on the inside. And then here's our card project. Now let's just finish it off. With a few little sequins. I'm going to use some of these that's not disco ball, but I'm going to add some sequins. And then I'm going to share the surprise because I can now. And I know that Gina's going live, and I usually don't do my lives this close to Gina's. So if you're bouncing out to go watch Gina, I get it. No worries. If not, stay tuned. Give me a few minutes and we're going to, yeah, Gina just started. We're going to, I'm going to share what she asked us to share. So I'm super excited. Super excited. All right, I'm going to add these embellishments in. And then, oh, I need to add some to the middle. And then we're going to talk about Gina's new offering. This is really exciting. She's never done it before. Okay. So, just as a wrap up, while I'm doing this, we figured out what we're going to share next week together. We're going to do a little combo project. We're going to do a holiday project, meaning like Christmas themed, and we're going to do a Thanksgiving / gratitude themed. So I can show you how you can use this Basket of All Seasons winter set and the Basket of All Seasons set in more of a fall, like autumn, Thanksgiving like theme. All right, I'm really digging this card. Yeesh. So this is our mashup. We mashed up these two concepts into that. And I love it. Oh, Tanya, you're watching us both. Okay. All right, friends. Eek! Okay, I'm going to take my face off. Oops. I tried to take my face off. Let's come back to the front. Okay, I'm going to pop. So right now, Gina has just released a brand new product. She's never done this before. It's super exciting. I think I'm going to pop this up. It's called the 12 Days of Christmas Box. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! It's available now at GinaKDesigns.com. Super, super fun. I'm going to pop in another graphic. It looks like that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of an overhead because I have the box and I have not opened it, and we will not be opening it. It is a big, honking, beautiful, well-designed 12 Days of Christmas box. You can get it now at GinaKDesigns.com. I do have a link down below in the description. Hopefully it works. It did go live at noon Central, which is about 5 minutes ago. So in December, starting on 12/12, Gina, and you can see that right here, like in this graphic right here, she's going to go live every day on YouTube, starting on 12/12, and she's going to open up each day of the envelopes that you can see in this graphic. Let's see, let's get my pointer going correctly. There's envelopes inside this box, and she's going to open one, and she's also going to show the contents of it, and share a project with it every day for 12 days so that we have something new and exciting every day for the 12 days of Christmas. How fun! So I will be participating in this. Gina I'll be sharing 2 projects or more, and I will definitely be doing a tutorial. We're not requiring us to do a tutorial at all, but I think I'm going to share a tutorial with them. But I'm going to show you. Let me go to the overhead cam so you can see the box. Let's take these off. This is what the box looks like. I can't open the box yet because it's still sneaky peeky. But this is what it looks like. It's available now. GinaKDesigns.com. Also in the box, a couple key points. So the box has over $260 worth of product in it. And I haven't opened it and I haven't looked at everything in there, but I can tell you that box is heavy. Okay. And the box is $129.99. And again, with the value of over $260. And there's nothing that is holiday related in the box. It is an all season, every day of the year kind of crafting stuff that's in there. So super, super fun. Okay, friends, I did run a little bit over. If you're hopping over to watch Gina, she's going to be talking about this box too and sharing a brand new tutorial with you today. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of today's tutorial as we're walking through our holiday season with the Basket of All Seasons set and the winter companion set. I really, really love this die set, and it is something a little bit different from me to you this season. So thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next week on Thursday, and I will announce the time. I will be sending that out in my email. If you're not part of my email list, consider joining. That's linked down below in the description. So, and all of the other details are linked down below in the description, including the 12 Days of Christmas box. So if you want to go take a peek at that. All right, friends, I will see you next week. And I'm sending you into the weekend to craft your joy. Bye now.